Welcome to HBCU 101.
I had all them no's, but I got that one I didn't give up.
Spelman's in the building.
Drum major for Morehouse's House of Funk.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to HBCU 101. I am your host, Jaleel Thurman. HBCU 101 is a show that will take you all over the nation, give you the ins and outs of HBCUs, with a little taste of the HBCU flavor. On today's episode, we have an alum from Prairie A&M University that is taking the community by storm through rap music. But before we dive into that, let's check out our HBCU news and see what's buzzing in the community.
Okay, thanks, Jaleel. Savannah State football player Kyle Frazier is getting his wish granted, and it is well-deserved. Frazier was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma in April of 2019, and he put up the fight of his life. Frazier rang his cancer-free bell in August of that same year and remains in full remission. Now back to the wish. Georgia's Make-A-Wish Foundation and the Los Angeles Rams are going to feature a cutout of Frazier during the Rams' upcoming Monday Night Football game against the Chicago Bears. Now, COVID put a damper on everything because Frazier's wish was to meet with the Rams in person, but Frazier isn't one to complain. He says if there's going to be a cutout of him, he wants his entire team to be there with him, and the Rams are making it happen. So if you catch some Monday Night Football, look for the entire Savannah State football team. And whenever football returns for the SIAC, look for Frazier on the field for Savannah State. He's been practicing and working out as he remains in full remission. All right, back to HBCU 101 with Jaleel Thurman.
During his time on campus, many knew him for being legendary, and that has yet to change. He is still impacting the community. HBCU 101 is thrilled to sit down with Prairie A&M University alum and co-founder of Legends Do Live nonprofit organization, Mr. Jarren Small. Jarren. Well, what's going on, Jarren? What's going on?
Man, what's going on, man? I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on the show, bro.
Nah, the pleasure is all mine, man. The pleasure is all mine, especially when we can get the swag in the building, to be able to talk some of that down south love, But let's dive right into it. Prairie View's in Texas. It's in Prairie View, Texas. You're from Missouri City. Now,
yes, sir. Missouri
City is about roughly 134 miles away, which is not too far. However, there's another HBCU that's really close to you, where you're from, which is Texas Southern. How did you pass up Texas Southern, or why did you to attend PV? Let's talk about it.
My mom's whole side of the family went to Prairie. So it really wasn't an option. It was no TSU conversation. Originally, I really wasn't even trying to go to Prairie. I was trying to go to Southern.
Okay.
So I was trying to get away from the crib, play basketball over there. That didn't end up working out. My mom already enrolled me at PV.
Oh, wow.
So she's like, you can come to Prairie. I already enrolled you. You already got in. I was just like, all right. Went there. Probably the best thing that ever happened to me, bro.
Okay.
Honestly.
Now, let's talk about that. I think one thing that I really feel is universal in everyone's story when it comes to HBCUs is sometimes that's not the HBCU they want to go to, but yet that was the best decision of their life. And so you just spoke onto that. Walk us through your time at Prairie View and kind of like why you feel as though that was the best decision for you.
One, the dorms was fire. We literally, I only shared a restroom with my roommate. So literally every room had their own restroom.
Okay.
So I can say we probably got some of the best freshman dorms in the country, even competing against PWIs.
Got you.
So that helped me a lot. And then when I was a freshman, I was just a true freshman. I went to class, came home, didn't really do nothing. And my mom was like, you got to, make sure you're active and stay active and stuff because it's really what you make it at the end of the day. And I realized this ain't free, so it's just I gotta figure something out, to make sure I'm getting the bang for my buck. So I got involved with SGA, which is Student Government Association, the next year. And I was a senator over athletics.
Okay.
And after that, I became a senator of communications. That's what I was a mass comm major and a minor in marketing. So I became a senator over my college. And then that next year I was the president.
Got you.
You know, so from there, everything changed because I was on the other side of the window when it comes to HBCUs.
Yeah, that experience as SGA president involved in SGA is one of a kind. A lot of people don't really understand. You know, once you get in there, you start getting in the rooms that you're not used to getting in. You start having conversations with people that you're not having. You're starting to have an impact on even your peers.
Right.
You know, for example, you had an impact on a student on campus where you really helped to change his life. And that's where the whole legendary, you know, phrase for you, you know, let's talk about that impact and what it meant for you and that student that you were able to impact.
Yeah. So, you know, my junior year, I was walking around doing like 18 hours of class. I was interning with the Rockets at the time in Houston, and I still had like a social life. And people was like, bro, how are you doing all of this? I'm just like, man, I'm just doing it. You know, he was like, Mr. Legendary. He called me Mr. Legendary. Mm-hmm. And I think I had just had put in our Panther statue on campus. Mm-hmm. So my name's on that statue. So it was just a lot going on that year. And people were just like, bro, you doing a lot, you know? But he was like, man, I just feel like I made a decision for what I wanted to do. And that was it. I eliminated the excuses because I knew they were going to come, but I just eliminated them.
Yeah.
And so from there, it spun from how do we show more people that you can be legendary and being an everyday person. You don't have to be a celebrity or somebody famous. You can be who you are in the best light and be legendary. Yeah. So that's how the nonprofit started. And it went into impacting kids, showing kids that looked like me that were struggling to get into school or with just everyday problems in high school. Like, yo, don't let that be the thing that stops you from achieving who you want to be or your goals. That's the thing that's supposed to help you. You know, so that was pretty much how it stemmed from.
Nah, I agree with that. And I love how you were able to take, you know, your experiences at PV and apply them to real life. And being a co-founder of Legends Do Live, which we're going to dive in when we come back, but it has had a different type of impact that I don't think that you were even prepared for. And I really want to dive into that. So that's what we're going to do when we come back. It's HBCU 101. It's Jarren. It's Jalil. You guys stay tuned. We'll be right back.
HBCU 101. Welcome back to HBCU 101.
Welcome back to HBCU 101. I am your host, Jalil Thurman, and I have the culture engineer himself, Mr. Jarren Small here. Jarren, you've been able to impact the culture in such an amazing way with Legends Do Live, right? But before we get to that, I got a little HBCU trivia for you.
Okay.
Right? Gladys Knight attended what HBCU? Is it Fisk University, Tennessee State University, Shaw University, or Bowie State University?
I'm going to go with Fisk.
I will have to say that you're wrong. She actually went to Shaw University.
Shaw, okay.
No, it's a hidden gem. But yeah, Gladys definitely went to Shaw, but it's all good. So look, let's dive into Legends Do Live. For the people that are unfamiliar with Legends Do Live, let's give them a little background about the organization as well as some of the initiatives that you guys are working on.
Yeah, so Legends Do Live is a 501c3 nonprofit based here in Houston, Texas, where our mission is to fund and equip disadvantaged youth and communities through workshop programs and events. So in short, we work with different corporations to bringing necessary resources and funding back into the public school system in underserved areas that normally gets pretty much stuff taken away. Okay. So we've been doing it for the last almost 7 years now. We've probably given almost 30, I want to say close to 30 million within scholarships. We're working with different corporations, and now our biggest initiative that we've been doing in the last 2 years is Reading with a Rapper. Okay. Where we teach kids how to read and write through rap lyrics, content, and technology. We started this in 2018, and we've impacted about 30,000 students between Houston, New Orleans, and Atlanta. I'm working with actual rappers where they come in to surprise teach a class. Yeah. You know, and we're really breaking their lyrics down, showing them metaphors, similes, personification, hyperboles, anything in that ELA metrics.
Got you. Now, education is huge. And sometimes, you know, students that are in underprivileged areas are able to receive the education that they need, as well as education at some point now dealing with Generation today is not the same as it was when we were in school, right? And
Absolutely.
so what was the thought process behind reading with a rapper, and what has been some of the most memorable moments that you guys have had?
Yeah, so I mean, ultimately is to bring culture to the classroom, right?
Okay.
So like these kids are just learning on a different frequency, and we're trying to teach them how to be in school when they learn a different frequency, but we're giving them old ways of teaching.
Got you.
So it doesn't equate, you know what I'm saying? They really do not understand it. So if we bring in everything they love, music, content, technology, we bring in lights, headphones, they're like, whoa, what are we doing today? We doing ELA.
Right.
And they be like, okay, I'm already locked in off the presentation.
Correct.
I think some of the most memorable moments, we did a really big one here in Houston with Meek Mill, where we surprised a group of males that were all on probation. And we showed everybody in conjunction with the mayor. He opened up City Hall for us on a Sunday, and we did it in conjunction with Microsoft and Puma. We gave all the kids Puma Reform shoes, but we showed Meek like, hey, you can teach kids how to read and write and stay out of prison in the judicial system all through your music.
Yeah.
So he didn't even hesitate. He's like, nah, man, I'm in.
Yeah.
He stayed an extra day on his tour. He came, gave all the kids his shoes, gave all the kids computers, and we started the conversation about how now pop culture and hip hop can be the thing that saved these students and these kids and moving in their future.
And I'm sure that event in itself was so impactful because I think that when we're dealing with the youth, when we're dealing with people in our communities, it's nice to see those that are upper echelon, you know, or those, you know, celebrities or A-list celebrities that we look up to or aspire to be like or are motivated by to come back and really be down to earth and really engage with the students. Now, what was some of the, I guess, reflections or testimonials that you guys received from having such that impact?
I got quotes like it was long overdue. Mm-hmm. I wish I had this when I was in school. Mm-hmm. It's needed. It's innovative. It's the future of education, essentially. Like that's the thing that we wanted to make sure we step in and say was like, we're not so much trying to change what the kid is getting. We're trying to change how they get it. Yeah.
And now you guys have taken this really into the classroom, right? And you're based in Houston, but you've been able to get to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And so what has that transition been like trying to expand the brand of reading with a rapper?
It's a little tough. One of our biggest hurdles that we kind of saw a little bit was more so just the learning curve of the people, the decision makers, because they're a little bit older. So we have to kind of like do it in real time for them to really conceptually understand the product. But going to Atlanta was super cool because we got to impact the entire 5th grade class at College Park Elementary. I think it was Hot 107 was there as well. So we had some good momentum, and New Orleans was great as well because we did 3 charter schools in one.
Wow. Okay.
You know, so to have all those schools in one area, this is of course pre-COVID.
Yeah.
But it was
impactful.
It was fulfilling to see that it's working. It can be done in multiple areas and regions.
Yeah, and I think that's really special for you know, when you're in the beginning stages or trying to build a brand, to see that it's so receptive is always special and warming to the heart. Now, Jarren, you like to be legendary in multiple ways, and for the culture, I love how you transition. Now, your love for sneakers has caused you for another venture, but we're not going to talk about it right now. We'll talk about it when we get back from the break. It's HBCU 101. It's Jalil. It's Jarren. You guys don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. Did you know Doug Williams was the first African-American quarterback to win the Super Bowl? He's a graduate of Grambling State University.
HBCU 101. Welcome back to HBCU 101.
Welcome back to HBCU 101. I have the culture engineer himself, Jarren Small, in the building, and myself, of course, Jalil Thurman. Jarren, the culture. You like to always engineer something, put something together in the mix, and come up with something really unique. You've done that with Reading with the Rapper. You even had something with Kicks and Conversations, and just various different avenues that you want to be unique. Now, let's talk sneakers. I love sneakers. You love sneakers. But you took it a step further and created the sneaker Census. Can you talk to the people about what that actually is and where that thought came from?
Yeah, so Sneaker Census is an information technology data company that pretty much collects localized data around the world to ultimately give back into the community to better the sneaker community in itself, right? So it spun from me doing Kicks and Conversations where I was bringing an executive of color to schools to let them know, hey, you can get into this, but let's start the conversation now rather than later.
Gotcha.
So we did a really big one at Prairie for homecoming, and we had over like 500 participants. Then I was like, okay, this is a thing. And I saw that it wasn't a pipeline between HBCUs and these major market retail brands or corporations, but yet they're talking about they want to impact the HBCU diaspora, but y'all not pulling up. So I'm just like, all right, let me just show you what it looks like in real time. But I saw that it was just a huge problem and a big need that needed to be fixed. And so over time, I happened to acquire the VP of Finish Line to be a part of the board, brand and marketer for Jordan, the diversity and inclusion director for Adidas, and these are all people of color.
Gotcha.
So like now we created our own FUBU moment to where now controlling the data allows us to maneuver the future because we are having projections of what's going on in real time now. And so it's pretty much just like the regular U.S. Census, right? How it works. You fill out these questionnaires, and then that information goes back to the government, and that allows them to go ahead and allocate money, funds to the appropriate places.
Correct.
Same way. I feel like the boutique stores are like the small businesses of the sneaker world, but don't get the most pushing, but they're the ones that look like us in the Black and brown communities. So how can I impact them the right way? So instead of me trying to guesstimate, I can tell you, hey, you need to do this, that, and now you have, something to really push you moving forward in the light. And now I'm really excited to say, because we're coming out with an actual card. It's going to be called Access. Okay. So Access is going to be a loyalty rewards program that's going to allow you to have access to any boutique store in the country.
Oh, wow.
Not just one. With Finish Line, say, for instance, you go to Finish Line, you can only use it at that said store.
Correct.
This will allow you to use it at any boutique store in the country, and allows you to tap into our partners that are independent apparel brand designers or people in that field of nature that don't really have an outlet to put their stuff out, and ultimately give you access to get the things that you want. So people on certain apps, when they want a shoe, they can't get it because bots or whatever the case might be. This will allow you to bypass that and go directly to the source with the small businesses to impact them directly.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be tremendous. I love sneakers. I know a lot of people that love sneakers. And so, like you said, a lot of times you run into, various roadblocks and obstacles when it comes to trying to get sneakers on the various apps, doing certain raffles. And just, it isn't always in your favor, And so to see that you come up with a concept that does then kind of give the consumer a better favor, I think that's tremendous. Now, let's talk PV. You're doing a lot now. How do you feel like Prairie View set you up for everything that you're doing today?
I think it gave me every tool that I needed. Prairie View taught me how to maneuver through life. It taught me the importance of collaboration, and it taught me the importance of speaking to people that do look like me but don't, and are from different diasporas and have different ways of thinking, to be open. And to work again. So like even now going back with Sneaker Census, we're doing HBCU internships only. And right now, Prairie View is going to be one of the main schools that we go back to tap into that College of Business, College of Engineering for those applications, those engineers that we're looking for to, fully develop what we're getting ready to do with Sneaker Census down the road. So I think it's pretty much full circle saying that, you always come back home.
Yeah, always. Now, before we got out of here, we always play a game. It's called I Got 5 on it. I Got 5 on it is this or that, and you choose who or what you may have 5 on. All right? Let's take it back to college right quick.
Okay.
Fried Chicken Wednesdays. Who do you think has a better Fried Chicken Wednesday? Jackson State or Alcorn State?
I'm about to say Jackson because it's in Mississippi. So it's just like, they got it, you know what I'm saying? They seasoning different over there.
Yeah.
So I'm probably take Jackson State.
Got you. Now, let's talk homecomings in Texas. Outside of PV, outside of Texas Southern. Let's start with the two smaller ones. Who you got 5 on? Wiley College or Paul Quinn?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. I'm going to get in trouble if I don't say this. So I'm going to lean with Wiley for sure.
I've been to Wiley's homecoming. It's not too bad. Jarren, before we let you go, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, man. So you can find me on Instagram at Jarren Small, spelled exactly like that. And if you want to visit any of the companies, you can go to sneakercensus.com or legendsdolive.com.
Got you.
That's it, man.
Jarren, thank you for being on the show. It's been a pleasure having you. It's HBCU 101. It's Jalil. It's Jarren. Stay tuned.
Already.
Number 1, limit your credit use to 30% of available credit. Number 2, check out your local community bank or credit union for better interest rates. And number 3, get life insurance in your early 20s.
HBCU 101. Welcome back to HBCU 101.
Today's Wear Brim Spotlight is Spelman College alumna and CEO of Rebel Agency, Tanisha Bibb. The Rebel Agency is a full-service communications company based in New York, New York, that specializes in strategy for clients across a myriad of industries. If you know someone who should be featured on the Wear Brim Spotlight, please email us at info@hbcu101.com. And that's it for today's episode of HBCU 101. I want to give a special thank you, special shout out to Jarren Small for stopping by and giving us the scoop on what he has going on, from Sneaker Census to Reading with a Rapper and just Legends Do Live in general. For the entire crew, I am Jalil Thurman, and I'll see you next week.